Hey, so I'm standing outside Uniting Care, got a whole bunch of paperwork. Queensland, they are the ~1 service for homeless people, right? So if you go to Google, you type in Gold Coast Homeless Services, you're gonna get Uniting Care. So these guys get $800 million in funding every single year from the state government, which is Stephen Miles, Anastasia Palaszczuk, whatever you want to call it, Labour government, right? And this is a building for, I guess, for homeless people, which is good, right? That's a good thing. They've built something. But let's look at the actual numbers. And this all came to a head when I was down at Broadwater Parkland. You've got homeless people all over the park, right? I'm walking around like, why are there homeless people all over the place, right? And I talked to this one guy and he says to me, well, you know, I try to call Bryan Place. Now, if you don't know where Bryan Place is, that's a homeless shelter in Labrador. All these employees, by the way, $1.1 billion is spent every year by Uniting Care Queensland for employee expenses, because you got to have all the case managers, you got to have everybody trying to figure out what's wrong with your brain, right? They said to him, well, we can't actually admit you in because you have to do drug rehab. And he said, but I haven't touched drugs for 6 months. And I said, well, too bad. And I thought that's a bit strange, so I thought I'd call them up and find out what their drug policy is. I said, nobody's answering this question for me. It's very strange. But the first thing is, I try to call the actual number.
Office advises that the mobile number you have dialed has been disconnected.
The number's down, right? And if it's been down, I'm guessing it's been down for a while. So I send the email, nobody answers the email. I'm like, what is going on here? There's no phone numbers, no nothing. Look, there's no phone numbers on anywhere, right? So I start digging around a little bit. I'm like, this is a bit strange. I email the CEO. So I email the CEO and they say, and the guy opens email straight away. He's like, but they're now investigating me, right? They're clicking on my links, but they're not replying to my email. I go, what the hell is going on here? So finally, I email every single person in politics right now, and I CC this guy, Luke, right? This guy, Luke. So Luke emails me back and he says, look, I'm thinking to myself, why isn't there a place on the Gold Coast where you can just go have a hot shower? Because Luke, right? Luke is one of these quacks, right? One of these mental health guys that, like, which nothing wrong with you if you're a mental health professional and you want to talk to these people about your feelings. You know, we've got a housing crisis, and Lifeline. Look, this is an article from The Guardian, I think. There's all these people calling Lifeline, right? Saying, oh, I feel bad, I feel bad, I feel bad, I feel bad, which is fine. But the thing is, what about actually providing people with like a hot shower, a place to go, a place to eat, some food? And listen to this. Listen, tell me if you think this is normal, right? They say Bryan Place is transition accommodation for men who have been long-term homeless, minimum of 12 months. So what they're saying is, in order to get into Bryan Place, you have to be on the street suffering for 12 months. But let me ask you, if you were to be put on the street for 12 months with no support, nothing, right? You're just trying to survive. Would you end up having a mental health problem? Probably would. And who would that benefit? Lifeline, right? Because Luke is a mental health professional. But listen to what he says to me, right? I say to him, why don't none of your phone numbers work? What's going on? Phone numbers are still not working. He's blaming Google. He's saying, oh, we got to get in contact with Google. Now, the Premier, Stephen Miles, said he's going to forward this to the Honourable Megan Scanlon, right? I'm going to show you some numbers here, which are going to scare you. And I still haven't gotten a question of what the drug policy in Bryan Place is. But let's talk about, the Premier's opening email. He says to me, look, Costa, because I'm like, none of your phone numbers work, you don't do anything. He says, we have multiple homelessness programs operating on the Gold Coast that provide services 7 days a week. I know this place doesn't, but okay. He says, for example, and then he says, our homeless hub located on the Gold Coast offers a range of essential services, laundry facility, meals, bathrooms, specialist homelessness housing support. That's great, Luke, except the only problem is I call up the hub, like literally 1 minute after I talk to this guy. They email me back and they say we only provide services Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is the financial overview, 1.1 billion on employee expenses. All the employees are getting paid to sit there and not answer phones, okay? Now, by the way, Stephen Miles, this is his pinned post on Twitter, right? He's with his nice family. He's saying, I want all Queenslanders to have a place to call home. Now this keeps paying these guys 800 million, but Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Why are they open for only 3 hours? When you well, that's when you understand it's not really about helping the homeless. I'm going to teach you the real game. Let me tell you, people that don't have a voice, right, always get played. And I'm going to show you the game, right? How Uniting Care plays. And now tell me if you think this makes sense, right? For an organization that's there to help the homeless, do you think it's normal to be investing like a Donald Trump type of character? This is the United Care consolidated statement of financial positions, year ending June 2023. Now listen to this. They have $360 million in cash just sitting there, right? So this person that I met, they can't get him a hotel, they can't get him anything, but they got $360 million sitting cash. But listen to this. They have $636 million of investment properties. Why would a charity like Uniting Care need why would they even have investment properties? Because remember, that's different from property. That's investment property. Oh, because they have a tax-free status. So people like Luke and Craig can get their friends to invest in property and start to make a really nice juicy profit. That's why the phone numbers don't work. That's why the emails don't get answered. That's why whenever you're asked questions, they start investigating you, trying to click on your website, because it's one big smokescreen. And meanwhile, just down the road, you got homeless people sprayed out all over the place, right? All over Broadwater Parkland. It's heartbreaking and it's absolutely disgusting. And the Premier knows about this. He's opening the emails, like this morning he's opened the email like 4 times. His response is, oh, pass the buck. This is really random. This has nothing to do with this video. Uniting Care is actually like an organization, part of the Uniting Church in Australia. They got a bunch of people. Firstly, it's all in Arabic, right? The front page is in Arabic. And then they've got Christian students uniting the church for climate action. What does climate change have to do with going to church? I found that a bit weird, but whatever. I would ask Stephen Miles, when are we going to have a royal commission into how these charities play this game? Where they get all this power and all this money telling everyone how great they are. They're getting 800 million from the government every year, plus they're getting all the donations. They're getting people leaving them their properties, and you're telling me they can only stay open for 4 hours a day, Monday to Friday? And you got Luke, who's the general manager, lying about when they're open for. Oh, we have all these services for 7 days. I'm not surprised for why they weren't answering the phone. The whole thing is a Ponzi scheme. And these are the guys that you're calling when you're feeling bad. Lifeline. You think they care about you? Now, the CEO, Craig, he's opening the email 17 times. He's ducking and weaving. And then on their website, they say, we are leaders in crisis response. Your phones don't work. Your emails don't work. This is the stuff that people don't see. I'm homeless myself. I've experienced this. And it just seems to me there's becoming a bigger and bigger disconnect between the haves and the have-nots. And what's even worse is the people that are supposed to be helping and assisting are just pocketing the money and just poof, it's gone. Stephen Miles doesn't care. He's talking about, oh, I want all Queenslanders to have a place to call home. Why don't you start with investigating why Uniting Care is getting $800 million a year and they're lying about what time their services are available? And their phone numbers aren't working, and their emails aren't being answered. Why don't we start with those things? And why they have $630 million in investment properties? Since when? Why does an organization that helps the homeless need to have all these investment properties? What are people supposed to do on a Saturday or Sunday? So, Luke, you're a liar. You're an outright, absolute liar. You're making excuses for the fact that the phone number, you have to get in contact with Google, but the phone number isn't available on the Brian Place website. I mean, they have the address, they don't have the phone number. So, very disappointed at Uniting Care. The Premier, Stephen Miles, and a lot of the other politicians haven't really looked at it or gotten back to me. I think it's a little bit fucked up. What do you think? This is Costa from Sunlight. Thank you.